England. We've done this.
It's time to review Gareth Southgate's, what is it?
Euro
November
24
international break squad
against Malta and North Macedonia.
I feel like we were here about a week ago doing a video about Southgate's England
I'm sick
squad.
of international break.
Mate, why is there so many?
I hate watching England. I hate listening to Gareth Southgate. I hate him kind of treading water with his squad selection and the players that he's keeping out and players that he's keeping in. Sick of it. Prem's heating up and I want to talk about Prem.
The main reason I've called this emergency video.
Luke was in charge.
Yeah, I texted one the other day and I said, we've got to do a video on England. I've seen the squad. We're in trouble. And I believe we are. I think this England squad is a little bit shambolic. I look at the strength of some of the other national teams. I'm talking about France. I'm talking about Spain. Even talking about maybe Germany, Italia. I still think Italy's maybe slightly. I mean, I know we beat them.
Yeah,
but it took a bit of a Jude masterclass. But that is what we're playing with. But for me, yeah, I want to break down the squad. We'll start with the goalkeepers, and I just sort of want to point out the lack of quality I see across the board here. And I know this isn't a fully fit England side. I know we're missing a few key players, but we'll try and talk about the key players that we're missing at the time. And we'll maybe have a little talk about how this might lead as a indicative movement of how we might end up in that Euro 2024.
I'm intrigued, mate.
Starting in goal, we've got three goalkeepers there. Sam Johnston, Jordan Pickford, and Aaron Ramsdale. I think the big omission there is Nick Pope. I think maybe... Is he nursing an injury?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know why he's not in his squad for me.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Gareth Southgate came out and said, because people were asking about Ramsdale and him losing his place in the Arsenal team, and they were like, will Ramsdale's place with England be secured even if he's not playing for Arsenal? And Southgate had the cheek, the gumption, to be like, well, if his place in the team is not secure, we'll have to review his position in the team each international break. And all the comments were like, how come that applies to Ramsdale and not Harry Maguire? How come that applies to Ramsdale and not Calvin Phillips?
100% agree. For me, the main issue is Jordan Pickford is the England number one due to past performances. I look at some international keepers. You're looking at Magnon for France.
Banger.
Absolutely top tier keeper. Top tier. Elite goalkeeper.
Brazil got two.
I mean, Brazil got, but luckily we're not playing them in the Euros. Italy have got Donnarumma.
And Vicario.
Shout
out Vicario, man.
I just look at this England. Sam Johnson, I was actually gassing him up beginning of the season.
You were?
He's having a little bit of a fall off here. The statistics aren't great.
No.
And I don't think he'll be in the squad come... When's the Euros kick off? Like July? June? I don't know. Jordan Pickford, like we say, he's in the squad on merit. The issue is there's not any world-class English goalkeepers.
Yeah, I agree.
There really isn't.
And
Aaron Ramsdale is literally
leading.
number two.
Yeah, he
was sort of in line to take over from Pickford for me.
And I agree with Southgate in the sentiment that you can't have a player be your number one or even your number two, really, if they're not playing club football.
100%.
But you've got to be consistent and apply the same to Harry Maguire and apply the same to who else did I say? I can't remember.
Calvin Phillips,
yeah.
But yeah, for me, that back line is the goalkeeping lineup is poor. I think come big starting game of the Euros, he's got to be Jordan Pickford in goal at the minute.
Yeah, he is now.
And that's literally it. He's going to have the most experience because he's going to get leathered with shots all season.
Yeah.
Because Everton, although on a little bit of resurgence, are still poor. And yeah, there's no one in the running. James Trafford, I thought, might be in with an outside shout. I think he had a poor game against Arsenal. I think he's had a fairly poor season.
Yeah.
I think he's getting a lot of heat from Burnley fans. Who else? Steele from Burnley, from Brighton.
Nah.
No, not the one.
No.
Who else? Who else is there?
Nah, there was like Dean Henderson was meant to be the guy, but he's not playing football really at the moment.
No, exactly. So for me, perhaps it's a little bit more dire than we thought, especially with the goalkeeping situation. Move on to defenders. Levi Colwill, I like.
Solid.
Yeah, I think he's had a decent season so far for Chelsea in a poor Chelsea side.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously know what he was about at Brighton last season. I think in the last set of friendlies, whatever we saw of him was good. I thought he looked composed on the ball. He looked like he was a defender who wanted to bring the ball forward, which is what we were so good at in that World Cup run when we got to the semi-finals. So I like that inclusion. Mark Gahey.
I like a lot. I'm warming to him. I thought he was one of those people that just got in because they like kind of needed someone. But I think he is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League.
I like that from you.
Yeah.
I'm still... Maybe I just haven't watched him enough. But maybe every time I've watched him, he's made a mistake. And that's me.
For me, every time I watch Palace, he's a standout. He's like one of those players that you look and you're like, you're definitely a class above everybody else in this team.
Yeah, I'm all here for it. Ezri Konsa, who was a later inclusion.
We've been screaming out for Konsa for England.
I call Konsa for Man United.
We call Konsa for Prime Minister, mate. You see all the bloody Tories and how they're tweeting like it's deadline day.
Mate, they got like David Cameron holding up his shirt.
What's David Cameron doing backing in the cabinet?
Yeah.
Fuck the Tories.
Rico Lewis.
He's an interesting one because for me, he is like nowhere near a player that Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate wants calm, kind of players that know what they are, pretty unexciting. Whereas Rico Lewis is kind of this unknown quantity that can play right back, can play centre mid.
Playing for attack as a 10.
Exactly. And
right
I feel like, what is Gareth Southgate going to do with him? Like, he doesn't play a formation that would benefit Rico Lewis at all.
I feel the inclusion for me is like get him around the squad, see if he can sort of gel well. Maybe if his versatility is used, and it's the same for Man City.
Yeah,
he was a right back, played left back last season, played in the CDM role. We've seen him play as a 10 before. It's really weird. I don't think he does it better than anyone we've got in those positions.
No.
But maybe he's
just
just
like
in there purely
thing.
for versatility and to gain experience. But for me, it makes me question. Reece James is semi-fit. I think Chelsea were talking about him not being allowed to go.
Yeah, I think that was the case. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's not down to Gareth Southgate. But Rico Lewis, I don't mind it. I like the fact he's giving, especially against like who is it, North Macedonia and Malta.
Yeah,
he's
got
giving
to get the kids in,
getting him some experience. But yeah, Harry Maguire.
He's actually broken back into the Man United team. I don't know if that's out of injuries or out of because the other options are so bad that Harry Maguire is like the lesser of two evils.
They've kept back-to-back clean sheets in the Premier League though, admittedly against Fulham and Luton.
And we know Gareth Southgate fucking loves Harry Maguire. He's come out to defend him so many times. I'm going to hold my hands up here
and say, look, he's been all right. And we have to. You can't just kick him when he's down.
No,
you've also got to lift him up when. And I think a lot of England fans really don't want Harry Maguire to fade into mediocrity. We want to see a bit of a resurgence. So for me, he's been all right for England. I think the fact that people say he's never let his country down, he makes mistakes. He does. Whenever he gets the ball, I am worried.
Yeah.
And in a game, if it's a semi-final, a quarter-final, a round of 16 game, and he has the ball and he's the last man between him and the keeper, I'm worried.
Yeah, and like this whole never let your country down thing that Pickford and Harry Maguire are living off of, England actually haven't achieved anything.
No, exactly.
So you haven't let your country down, fair enough, that's fine. But you haven't achieved anything with you guys. So it's like...
I would also rather someone who I'd fear is not going to let my country down more. Like someone who has more composure on the ball.
And the people, in my opinion, that he's competing with, he's had a worse season than all of the people he's competing with. We're talking
Konsa,
Colwill, Gahey, Konsa, and Tomori.
Yeah, and maybe even Lewis Dunk. I know Lewis Dunk.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's behind all of those. So,
looking forward to...
And there's no left back in that.
Yeah, looking forward to the Euros, I think we're going to see a very different backline. We're going to see...
Shaw maybe back.
Or Chilwell.
Chilwell might be back. The state of this England team's killing him. There's no John Stones at the moment, so he'll be back in the team because we've always said it's John Stones plus someone else.
Oh, man, I'm dying.
He's done out. So it's John Stones plus who? Let us know in the comments Who would you pair John Stones with at centre back? Because the thought of it is making Luke cry.
His England team's so poor, man. But yeah, I think we're going into the Euros. We're going to see a very different back line. We're going to see probably Kyle Walker starting that right back position. I'm going to see John Stones paired up with who? I don't know. For the love of God, it can't be Harry Maguire. There is so much better quality out there that will allow you to play and build from the back and not have that like rush because it gets to Harry Maguire and everyone panics. Because
literally, I'll take anyone out of the people that are called up that isn't Harry Maguire.
The left back one is interesting. I think
we've got a problem at left back.
I think we might see Kieran Trippier starting left back.
We've got a problem at left back because I talk about Reece James being made of prawn crackers. Chilwell's worse.
And Luke Shaw as well. They're
injury prone to fuck. So if it's not Kieran Trippier or if it's not Levi Colwill at left back, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, and for me,
Tino Livramento maybe.
I like Tino Livramento a lot. He was going
is
to be
that
one
a
of
little
my shouts.
shoutski?
He was one of my shouts, but he played right wing for Newcastle.
He's good though. He's versatile.
Mate, he's so good going forward as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him maybe in the left back role.
Yeah.
Playing like an inverted left back.
Yeah.
Be interesting.
Could.
Maybe that's the way we unleash Bellingham is get Tino next to Rice in the middle.
Could.
Who knows? The interesting thing here for me is right backs in the squad, Trippier and Walker. Right backs not in the squad, Reece James, Ben White. Ben White's international career is done out here until Gareth Southgate goes. We spoke about this at the pub, I think, the other day. One of them needs to just sort their act out.
Someone's got to bite the bullet, swallow their pride. Because Ben White should either be our starting right back or our backup right back.
Or our starting centre back.
Or in the starting centre back role. He is too good not to be playing for England.
He can play next to Stones and we would be cushy.
He has been one of the most rock solid, consistent Arsenal players for the past 2 seasons where Arsenal has competed with the best team in the world. So he should be playing for England.
100% agree. Couldn't agree more. Right backs in the squad, but not in right back. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yes.
As we move on to our midfield.
Even though he's not really playing that for Liverpool this season.
I don't know. I think Gareth Southgate's getting ahead of himself. Thinks he's Pep Guardiola.
He does. He tried it out once for England. And he thinks, oh yeah, I'll play Trent there now. Even though Trent doesn't do this for Liverpool anymore.
Yeah, I don't really understand the logistics behind it. I don't think it works.
No. He's not defensive enough to do that role for England.
And I don't think he gives you enough go through the middle of the pitch to do it.
No.
And yeah, I don't understand it. I really don't. Obviously, Jude Bellingham's in there. He's probably the set behind Harry Kane, the main man on the pitch. We're going to have a midfield of Rice, someone, and Bellingham. That's going to be it.
Is it going to be Jordan Henderson again?
Is it going to be Conor Gallagher who's in there? Because I like that.
I'd
don't mind that, actually. Jordan Henderson needs to fuck off.
He does. I hate everything he stands for. I think he's a massive bellend.
I can't imagine he brings that much to the team in the terms of like a leadership role.
No.
Out just in and around. I don't know, mate. I think he must be a vibe killer.
Yeah.
Genuine, and the fact he's getting minutes on the pitch.
Oh, mate,
disgusting.
if I was a fucking young buck that was killing it in the Premier League, the hardest league in the world, and some washed up 35-year-old that's played in Saudi is getting in ahead of me, I'd be having words. I'd do a Ben White and fall out with Gareth Southgate.
He's playing in front of less people than we get views on the video.
Mad.
That's nuts. And we're 2 Donnies in a shed.
Shout out the Donnies in the shed.
And he's getting paid millions, bro. I'm just saying, the world is not fair. He should not be in the squad. Conor Gallagher or Calvin Phillips, I think, are going to be the one to play alongside. We've obviously missing the likes of James Maddison, out for injury. Eze's only just come back from injury, so he missed out on the squad. Mason Mount stinking it up. Who else is there? We spoke about this plethora of English midfield talent, and arguably we've gone backwards.
I agree. I think when Maddison is back fit, it's a bit of a rosier picture, because then you rotate Maddison and Jude Bellingham, and you rotate the deeper ones. You do Calvin Phillips, Conor Gallagher, and Declan Rice as the deeper.
The deeper ones aren't as good as for me as I think people think they are. Like Declan Rice,
best
amazing,
in the world. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's the one who sits next to them.
But do they have to?
Southgate needs to make up his mind, yeah. And we're I think we're both partial to pushing the idea. Let's just go for it. Take the handbrake off. and play 2-8s and maybe play like Bellingham as a slightly more advanced. James Ward-Prowse, I think he got 2 assists on the weekend as well. Should be in this team for me. I think he genuinely would be.
He should be in the squad.
He would be starting next to Declan Rice for me.
I don't know. He should be in the squad. I think I'd have Conor Gallagher over James Ward-Prowse.
I don't know.
I really like what Conor Gallagher does. Goes under the radar. His legs. I think you just don't lose the midfield battle if you have Gallagher, Bellingham, and Rice. That's legs everywhere, mate.
I don't know, man. I think I'm a really big James Ward-Prowse advocate. I think the fact he's not even in the squad is disgusting.
Yeah, he should be in the squad.
The fact that Jordan Henderson in the squad and James Ward-Prowse isn't is testament to the delusion that we have going on at the FA and in Gareth Southgate's bogus mind.
Bogus, my man said. Cole Palmer, though, that's a good inclusion. Absolutely flying right now for Chelsea. I think he's 8 and 8 goal involvements.
Don't know if he fits. I know he plays at 10 for Chelsea, but he's almost like a false 9.
Yeah.
He plays so close behind Jackson, like he should be a forward on this sheet, really.
Yeah, 100%.
But Cole Palmer, I love the inclusion. Late call up as well with Rico Lewis. I think great player, and I'd love to see him get some minutes.
But
where,
as a whole, that midfield, in my opinion, looking at those names, that's weak. Minus Declan Rice and Jude, that's a weak midfield.
100%. Going forward, Jared Bowen,
good,
worthy inclusion. Phil Foden,
pisses me off.
He's gonna always be in it.
Yeah, because he's in a team that's always doing well. Is he necessarily always doing well? I don't know.
I want to see more.
Same.
I need to see more.
We've said this, bang on about this.
Call me. Just put your whole life on the line right now. Does he need to leave City?
Yes, I've said it. We said it on the pod. He needs to have 2 or 3 years of playing as a team's main man with no handbrake on.
I know it's really early to say something like this, but could Cole Palmer turn out to be the player that Phil Foden hasn't yet proved to be?
I think technically Phil Foden is a league above Cole Palmer.
I think technically Phil Foden is the most technical England player we've seen.
And if you get Phil Foden in that Cole Palmer role at Chelsea, where he's allowed to express himself, he's allowed to play with the handbrake off, we're looking at the most electric player in the world.
Mate, if he had half the mindset of Gascoigne, he would have been our next Gascoigne. Like, he genuinely...
He either doesn't back himself enough, or he's too happy living in comfort and not really pushing himself to what he can
Has Pep
be.
ruined him?
Ruined? He's still young.
But Pep's taken a bite out of him.
But Pep has taken, which he's done to Grealish, which he's done to a number of players.
Well, that's the next guy on the forward sheet. Jack Grealish, who is struggling for minutes at City next to Doku, and has looked a bit of a shell of his former self. He had a really good end to the season last year. Had quite a heavy...
heavy time off.
Mate, and fair play to him.
Come on,
much
mate.
deserved.
That's
And
what
we'll
I'd
never
do.
slate a player for that. But for me, he is lacking that bite again.
He is.
And I feel like his place in this England team is very there. It's just out there out of merit.
Well, and alongside another player in Marcus Rashford. So we, ages ago, a couple of months ago, did our starting 11
for the first game of the Euros.
For the first game of the Euros. And we pretty much had the same team, but we had, I think, I had Marcus Rashford at left wing, you had Jack Grealish at left wing.
And I think if we did it today,
and for me,
they wouldn't be in...
Yeah. Neither of them.
Yeah, neither of them. So, for me...
Anthony Gordon.
Yeah. Obviously, Harry Kane and
Bukayo Saka
in the squad. Ollie Watkins also in the squad.
Yeah, all three of them, Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka and Ollie Watkins, out of the forwards, they're the most on fire, playing well for each individual club.
Let's do a quick run through. Out of those 3 goalkeepers, who's starting for you?
John Pickford.
It's got to be Pickford.
Sadly.
Right back, Kyle Walker. I think we're going to go Stones and then basically maybe... I'd probably go Colwell or Konsa.
I'd go Gay.
Fine, I'm happy. I'm happy with any of those.
And then Kieran
left
Trippier.
back. Who you going left back?
Probably Actually, no, I'll go Colwell.
Would you go Colwell or would you go for a fit Luke Shaw or Chilwell?
Genuinely, probably still Colwell.
Okay, fine. I'll probably go for a fit Luke Shaw. Declan Rice and Bellingham, but who have you got partnering Rice just behind Bellingham?
Conor Gallagher at the moment.
Fine. I'll go for Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, fair.
But then on the right, I think we go Bukayo.
What guy?
Up top, we go
Harold.
Harry. Who you got on left wing? Because this for me is the most debatable position.
Genuinely, right now, I test the waters with Cole Palmer, see if he can do it there. because he's done it for City there. I
Mm.
think he could be an asset. Or genuinely, I get Anthony Gordon in this team.
I think for me, Cole Palmer's so good on his left foot. He's so good striking the ball from outside the box that it seems criminal not to play him out on the right. But you can't take maybe
Saka's,
Bukayo off. So for
Saka's
me,
best in the world out
I've
right.
got Ollie Watkins left wing.
Mad. I'm not against it. I think, has he kind of forgotten that aspect of his game now that he is like a very clinical striker? I don't know. Jared Bowen, maybe could you flip him and put him on that side?
Yeah,
Or maybe you do Saka out that side. Saka can do it that
yeah,
side.
maybe you go Saka that side
And then Bowen on the
get
other
him.
side.
I think also that's the thing we don't do as England enough is get to the byline. We don't go to the byline enough and cut
That's
him deep.
where Saka broke into the team left hand side, so he could be doing that. Could be nice, but yeah,
Or
I
maybe,
think
maybe we go versatile up top and just switch it, like constantly have them switch him.
yeah, that could be nice.
But yeah, guys, let us know down below. Are England in more trouble than we think? If you guys do want to get and sponsor us for our little tash that we're growing, everything you need is down below. If you want to get involved in our EAFC giveaway, everything you need for that is also down below. The description is heaving. But yeah, you're in with a chance of winning yourself a copy of EAFC.
EAFC 24. All you got to do is follow us on Twitter or Instagram. I'll let this guy die in the background. There's a post about the giveaway on both the socials. Just like that and tag 2 mates. It's as easy as that. And before we leave you and love you, let us know one player that is in the squad that shouldn't be in the squad and one player that isn't in the squad that should be in the squad. Comment it down below.
It's been BoreDraw and it's live.
That is live!